I approached this game with some curiosity. I know Mario, sure, but I must admit the Rabbids? Never followed them. What can I say about the Rabbids? They seem to be like the minions from the Despicable Me movies, a bunch of troublemakers who are there to appeal to the kids. Not really my thing, but hey, if you enjoy it, that's totally up to you. But I've got a review to do, and time's a-wastin', so let's get started. Oh, I'm doing this game instead of Sonic Lost World because my Wii U had to go in for repairs, so bit of a delay on that. Ubisoft and Nintendo had been working on some kind of Mario plus Rabbids crossover since the Wii days, but those plans didn't materialize until the Switch. I wasn't following this game especially close considering that I wasn't interested in the Rabbids, and I'm not particularly a follower of strategy-based gameplay, but the reviews came out and convinced me that I should give it a try. So how do I think Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle holds up? Let's find out. Okay, some story spoilers here. Skip to this time in the video if you don't want to be spoiled. You have been warned. So the story begins with a fangirl working on something Mario related, but as she leaves, the Rabbids come out and accidentally get sent to the Mushroom Kingdom, which causes all sorts of havoc. Mario teams up with the Rabbids and Beepo to rescue the one rabbit with the goggles so that they can change everything back to normal, along the way teaming up with various Mario characters like Luigi and Princess Peach. The story is filled with lots of humor and laughs. Beepo serves as the mouth for the group since everyone is a heroic mind. Beepo is very full of himself, very high opinion, but yet it doesn't serve to make him any less unlikable. I actually kind of enjoyed him. Princess Peach gets a really badass moment where she saves your party. It's a nice subversion, as, for once, she isn't a damsel in distress at any point. There's tons of laughs and plenty of interesting moments to be had, but it doesn't always stay that way, and I'll get into that towards the end. Characters from the Mario universe do show up. There's one part where they bring in Wario and Waluigi, though the actual Wario and Waluigi don't show up at all. In fact, why is that? How come in all of these Mario games, there has never been a time where Wario and Waluigi were bosses together at some point? The next Mario and Luigi game should have them as antagonists. They'd make good foils for the Mario Brothers. The main villain is not Bowser. He's away on vacation at the time. Bowser Jr. is the main villain for most of the game. While he's a troublemaker, he seems to actually have a genuine friendship with Spawny, as he calls the rabbit with goggles. It's actually rather interesting characterization for Bowser's son. I think Bowser Jr. probably just really wants a friend because the guy is lonely being Bowser's son. There is the Koopalings, but they're not in this game, so oh well. The graphics and presentation are pretty good. Everything is nice and colorful. I really like the animations of the characters' movements. The way they duck when they're about to take a shot at another opponent, it's such a nice little touch. So the characters really have personality and charm to them. That's really all I ask for in games. The music is kind of forgettable. There's really not much to say here. I honestly almost forgot to talk about the music. You better get used to hearing the same battle themes over and over. As for the gameplay, it's broken up into two segments. First is when you are not in battle. You control Beepo as he leads your party. I wish the control was a bit more free, but I understand that's how it was designed. You can collect coins, solve puzzles, and open chests that contain weapons or collectibles. The puzzles are interesting, but not very challenging. Beepo upgrades in abilities as you progress, which allows you to find them. I didn't really have time to go back and explore other areas, but it's there if you want to find every collectible. The main meat of the gameplay is the battle system. You only have 3 characters, and you're locked into using Mario and at least one Rabbid, which limits the matchups you can do. Personally, I find myself using Mario, Rabbid Peach, and Luigi most often, but certain characters do lend certain advantages depending on the type of fight you're in, like Rabbid Mario and Rabbid Luigi's close-range abilities, but I tend to stick to Luigi because his long-range abilities make him absolutely invaluable. You can upgrade the characters to unlock certain abilities, and I really recommend upgrading Luigi's Steely Stare. I occasionally use Peach for her abilities, though Rabbid Yoshi is useless, and you get Yoshi so late in the game, why even bother? The objective is to shoot your opponents. Sometimes it varies. Move your character to a specific location to get past the goal, but the general objective is to beat your opponents. It's a simple system and it works. You can attack physically, but it's not recommended. You need to strategize and get behind cover. The bigger the cover, the longer it'll take to break. It's about strategically placing your characters in the right places. You can do team jumps to get the higher ground where you can do more damage, keep your characters on the move and in the right places, and soon you'll be able to pick off your opponents. But what I will say about this game is that it is not easy. The further you go along, the more powerful the enemies become, so it's essential that you upgrade your weapons. But depending on the battle you're in, even if you lose, you learn something and you adapt to those situations. There are times where you can inflict status damage on your opponents, but they can do the same thing right back to you, so it's a matter of strategy, determination, and luck at times. But that's the basic gist of it. I like learning from my defeats. I like things getting pushed back and learning to adapt to the situation and enemies, and then overcoming them. There's also a huge variety of enemies to face. I wish there were more traditional Mario baddies to fight, but I understand they wanted to focus on the Rabbids. When you have to destroy a certain number of big enemies, that's when you know that you're in for a fight. Here's where a melee attack might come in handy, or even Luigi's Steely Stare in dealing damage really quickly. There are only 4 worlds, but they're all different in variations. There's no specific ice world, grassy world, although World 4 is all lava, but the game still takes a while to complete. You're looking at 20 plus hours as each world has 9 chapters. Chapter 5 is the mini-boss, which is usually where you get a new teammate, though you don't get to use that teammate more often than not. Chapter 9 is the boss, who are always fought in 3 phases. They're usually pretty easy, though the World 3 boss is a treat to watch. You can indulge yourself by collecting items and going to the museum to see what you've unlocked, but I didn't really see much point in going after them, but they're there if you're a completionist. Not much to say here. Finally, that brings us to the final boss. Big spoilers here. Skip to this time in the video if you haven't gotten there yet. You have been warned. I'll give you about 5 seconds. So Bowser Jr. learns that Bowser is coming home early from his vacation because, hey, even evil overlords need vacations. But Bowser is possessed by the Mega Bug, and I must say the atmosphere is really dark and imposing. This game just went from bright and cheerful to dark and ominous really quickly. The final fight with Bowser is not too hard once you get the patterns down. The trick is to constantly be on the move and make sure you pick off his minions, or else they're gonna swamp you. I wasted Mario's hero shot and Luigi's Steely Stare on some of these guys. It was definitely challenging at first. It took me 3 tries to finally beat him, but at long last, Mario was fittingly the one to deliver the final blow. So I beat the game and all was set right in the world. In fact, people seem rather content to stay in the Mario world. Are they gonna go back to the world they came from? What happened to that girl in the beginning of the story? Hell if I know. Maybe they're saving that for the DLC. Alright then. Mario plus Rabbids is a surprisingly good game. The combat is fast-paced, fluid, and enjoyable. The story is there to keep things moving, the visuals are competent, and overall, it's a very enjoyable package. As someone who doesn't play these kind of games too often, I must say, good job, Ubisoft. I recommend playing it even if you're not into this genre. Well, now I gotta finish Sonic Lost World because I gotta prepare. Super Mario Odyssey and Sonic Forces are both coming out within 2 weeks. So that's gonna be crazy. Join me next time. If you liked the video, please hit that subscribe button.